Hello and welcome to hour 11 of ID24, November 2017. ID24 is brought to you by the Paciella Group with kind support from Barclays and the Centre for Inclusive Design. And you can find out more about both of those organizations on our website. If you like this session, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the ID24 channel for future events and streams and videos. So we'd like to say a quick hello and thank you to Sapient Razorfish in Germany, who is streaming from 4 locations today. So I hope you're enjoying ID24 so far and that you have a good day. So don't forget to send us questions for presenters by tweeting to the hashtag ID24, and we'll pass these questions on to our presenters at the end of each session. And for each session, the best question or comment will receive a free 90-day Jaws license. Please note that the YouTube chat is open, but we are not monitoring it for questions to the presenter. It's just there so you can chat with other participants and share info. So with that, I will hand it over to Gunnar, and we'll speak to you later. Take it away, Gunnar.
Hi, good morning, everybody. This is my favorite place in Berlin to follow ID24. This is what it looks like this morning. It's a little wet, a little cold, but I wouldn't mind, but I think it might not be the best idea to do a video stream over mobile network. So, but here, this is where I was sitting 2 years ago, following Steve Faulkner and putting Adrian and Envy. So Adrian, this is for you. And yeah, I did it again, sitting there watching ID24. Damn it. Okay, I cannot do this right now, unfortunately. So I choose this place to do my talk, which is pretty nice. Used to be a sound recording studio. David Bowie has recorded his hero albums in this place, and U2 has recorded Achtung Baby, I remember One Love, One Life, One Beat, One Night. So that's a place where I work now. It's not a recording studio anymore, but you can have a party or an event in this room. And unfortunately, there is some event right now, so I'm not sitting in the Meistersaal right now, but I'm sitting in this office. Hi, everybody. Okay, but what I'm going to do is building a game in the browser and following the path that Jeremy Keith trots, saying what progressive enhancement is about. It's about identifying the core functionality first, and then making the functionality available using the simplest technology, and then enhance. I wanted to share this with you. Okay, here we are. So, I'm starting on the fresh. Okay, and now what is the simplest technology to build a tic-tac-toe game? It would be, I think, when you do it on a computer, it would be a text editor where you can put X's and O's in, right? But let's not do this. Let's use our browser, and the simplest technology would be HTML. So when we have a tic-tac-toe field, we would have a table, 3 by 3. So let's do that. Table and a T body in it. Rows. That's a lot of typing. You know what? I'm making it short, and I'm using a preprocessor here just for not having to type that much. A table, P-body, and then we have table rows, and then we have our cells and the next table row, and this compiles to what we want to have. So now we can, for these table cells and table rows, we can use a loop, and we predefine our rows, might give them names. Top row, and we have a middle row, oops, and the bottom row, and then we have our columns, left column, center column, and right column, and then we can here make a loop for each row, create a table row, and for each column create a table cell. This compiles nicely to our table, which we don't see yet because there's no content in it. So what should be in the table? In each cell we have to make the choice for an X or an O. So what would be the easiest way to make a choice in a browser? That might be either a select field or a group of radio buttons. Right? We could use a text input field, but that's not a good user experience, I guess, when you could make any text input there. So let's go for the other options, and select field. Well, we later would want to style that a little bit, and styling select fields and option fields. Well, good luck. And on the other hand, for text, for a select field, it's one more click for the user. User has to open the drop down and then make the choices which they couldn't see before. So let's go for the radio buttons. Now let's put the radio button in an input. Type radio. We have to give it a name because we have groups. Oh, now we see our table right there. And for a name, we use a combination of the row and the column. Row plus column. I might put a dash in between. Let's check it. Yeah, nice. So we folded radio button, we need a label. For the label, should have a for attribute. So we need an ID here as well. So this is player X and row, and let's use that again. Okay, and we use that as a for the for attribute. Something wrong here. Okay, what is it? Unexpected. That's live coding. I hate that. Okay, let's cheat here. That's what I wanted to show. We have an input with an ID, and I've predefined the player as well with X and O, and the for attribute, and now we have a label for each input element here, and I've put the radio buttons in a group and with a field set, and the field set has the legend, which also shows a row and a column, so we have a table that anybody should be able to use because the input fields are labeled and the field sets are labeled. And I also put all this in a form and put a reset button on top of it. So when we play, start with X, and O makes a draw, another X, another O, an X and O loses, and we can start a new game and clear all this stuff. So that's a tic-tac-toe build in HTML. Done. Let's go home. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. No, just kidding. It's like Jeremy Keith says, when I say it's an enhancement, don't think it is just an enhancement. And that's what we're going to do now. We want to enhance it and to style it thing. So let's make it look like a tic-tac-toe. And let's add some styling here. Okay, the form has a class of tic-tac-toe, so we might use that and just prefix everything with tic-tac-toe, though it would not have side effects to other elements if there were any other elements on the page. And I'm gonna cheat here as well. I use a CSS preprocessor here. And everything goes inside. So let's give those table cells a border. So we said border collapse and CD border in solid. There we go. And now we don't need the border of the field sets anymore. Let's remove them. And for sighted users, we don't need those labels for those legends for the field sets. right? So let's remove them, but only visually, so that screen readers would still announce which table cell we are in. Let's use the no visually hidden thing. I have it here as a mix-in, and we can just reuse it. Oh. Okay. So I take the whole thing. In here. Let's say here. Actually, and we're done. What else? We give the table cells a width and a height. So let's say 30% width and the same height. That's tricky. How can we do that? Okay, let's use another fallback, maybe 5 PM. And same the height. A little to 6. Okay, that works. But we can expand the table even for browsers that understand the calc function, and the min value, we can put it to 100 BM, and we make it a little shorter than that, and let's divide by 3. And let's see. Oh, I think that is one thing not as expected. What is it? I think I have to cheat again and take it from here and where it worked. Okay. Yeah, guys. What I did here is just set this into a custom property, and I can reuse it, and I don't have to use the same value twice here. If I want to change it, I'll have to change it in just one place, and we have still squares here. Okay. So style the button is as well. Give it some outline when it's focused, and remove the for Firefox the inner focus, but otherwise it would look like this. That's not very nice. So let's take this away, and we have our tic-tac-toe working. and styled a little bit more like a tic-tac-toe, right? You can start a new game, but it's still not very pleasing. So let's go further. What we might do is to remove those labels and replace them with graphics with a nice looking X and nice looking O. So this is what I did here. Flip through it. As well, what I did here is use for inputs, for labels for inputs that start with the X, use this SVG, which is the X, which here it is the same, just readable. Here it is percent encoded. And the same for the O label. And these are an after pseudo elements, and the label is hidden. And also the radio buttons are hidden, visually hidden here. So this still works. It works with keyboard. It works with a mouse. And because we used progressive enhancement, it works. It is still accessible. We don't have to add something. It's just right there. It has been there right from the start. And we have not taken anything away. We have just put the styling on top. And we can even enhance a little more and add some JavaScript to it. Because now we can here choose the circle, the O, and here as well. And with JavaScript, we could do that just the player who is the next to move can choose their own symbol, but not the other one. But that's really an enhancement, because when you play tic-tac-toe on a paper, this is exactly what you do on a paper. You could, yeah, each player can draw what he wants. But let's enhance this with some JavaScript. And I have prepared it, but I think I will show it to you. It looks like this. I just get those elements I need into variables on the top, and then when the game starts, I enable all elements and say that X is the next to move. Here, I just set the flag. And then what I'm doing is when X is the next, has to make the next move, I enable all the radio buttons, all the X radio buttons, and I disable all the O radio buttons. What is it? So when X, and I hide the labels for the disabled radio buttons. That's why you see only X is here. And when I press an X, the X appears here, and the next player can only choose the O's. That's the magic here. And how is it done? That the X appears as a big X. Well, that's this here. I just transform the visual label and scale it up that it fills the whole table cell. And what I do is here is I'll do all this only when JavaScript works. Yeah, when JavaScript would not work, would not load, or would not be executed or anything, let's take it away. Our tic-tac-toe still works like it did before. Now you can choose any symbol, of course, but it still works. Nothing is broken. Let's put the JavaScript back in, and it's enhanced. So the next thing we could still do is when we play the game now. Now, let's do it, but the game is already over. So we can build a detection when any player has won. So that's what I did in the last pen I wanted to show you. The HTML and CSS is still the same, just added some JavaScript here. That's a representation of the board as an array. And where is the magic? Here is the magic when X puts an X into a field, there would be a 1 in the array, and when there's an O, there would be a -1, and then I can just add all the values of the rows and columns and diagonals, and check if it's 3 or -3. When it's +3, then X is 1. When it's -3 in any row or column and diagonal, then the O has 1. That's the magic here. And somewhere I have the output. And I told you that the HTML would be the same. That was a pretty lie. I have added an output element that sits right here with a role alert. And when the game is over, it will be filled. So let's play. Click, click, click. And X wins. So that's a tic-tac-toe built with progressive enhancement. When JavaScript fails, you can still play it. And the thing is, when CSS fails, let's take this away, you can still play it. Oh, I cannot select an O here because the radio button is disabled. So the logic is still there. And also the detection that X is 1. Yeah, so that's what progressive enhancement is about. You just add pieces, piece by piece, and not taking anything away that's already there. So we started with a simple thing, just looking bad, but it's already a tic-tac-toe game. You can't play it. And we added styling and behavior. And by doing this, it is accessible and take either the keyboard to navigate, and the screen reader should still announce the radio buttons and the legends for the group of radio buttons. And yeah, that's what I was going to show you. What I'm not saying is that this is the best way to build a tic-tac-toe this way, because it might be better to use the arrow keys to navigate horizontally and vertically, and not using the tab key. But that's not what this talk was about. I just wanted to show the thinking behind progressive enhancement and building from scratch, from the basics, the basic functionality, a table with input cells, and adding anything else on top. So, by not doing all in live coding, I've saved some time, I guess. So we have more time for questions.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Gunnar. Very interesting to see kind of, as it actually progresses, as these things get built bit by bit, because it's, as you mentioned right from the start, the idea of this progressive enhancement really shows how you start off with the most sensible element to begin with, and then build on top of that. Now, one question I had was, if it's possible, could you tweet out the URL for those code pens, because it will be really interesting. It will be interesting for everybody to have a look, to dive in, to fork it, test it, and it makes a really good basis to start working and exploring other possibilities. Because as you mentioned right at the end now, and as is the case with many things in accessibility, there's no one true way trademark to solve certain issues. There's always it depends on what your outcome is, what the explicit widget is that you're building, and it could provide a really good basis for further exploration on those ones. So that's really interesting. Have you taken this approach on any other widgets? I mean, I'm not putting you on the spot that you need to show us, but is this the sort of approach that you take in other avenues when you're building a kind of more complex widgets for websites?
Yeah, I try to do it every time, to do it this way, to make the basics work without JavaScript, if possible. Using the right HTML elements, that it just works out of the box, and then make it better. Yeah,
no, that's a commendable goal. Right, we've had a look over the Twitters, and unfortunately, there weren't that many questions for this time. So you get off lightly, both with the live coding and then no hard questions. But if there are, for all the listeners at home, if there are any further questions for Gunnar, just feel free to carry on tweeting on the hashtag ID24. And I'll pass over to Ian at this point.
Okay, thank you very much, Gunnar. That was great and very brave of you to be to do live coding.
Well, I think it was the second time I tried it with live coding. It's hard to do.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think when I did it the first time, I missed the point when to switch from the live coding to what I had prepared. So it's better to have those things prepared and then to switch early and show what you have.
It's good to see that progression, and you know, starting with something which looks very different to the outcome.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And the point is when for any reason CSS fails to load, then you still have what has been in the beginning, right? So the ugly thing, but it still works.
Yeah. So yeah, always making something better with the next layer of technology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So thank you very much, Gunnar. That was really good. This hour's 90-day JAWS license is going to go to Michiel Biel, friend of TPG. So thank you very much for you sharing the links to ID24. That's really good. We can only do this with people helping us to promote it and to get the interest going for an event like this, which is really promoting accessibility and inclusive design. So as usual, a reminder that ID24 is brought to you by the Paciello Group with kind support from Barclays and the Center for Inclusive Design. And you can find out more about those organizations on our website. And if you like this session or any of the other ID24 sessions, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. So we will be back at the top of the hour. So we have a little break now. So we'll see you all soon.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Thank you
very much, Gunnar.
Bye.